Hello, it's Birgit. Welcome back to the Smart Home program. In this program, I will guide you through the 3 steps to a successful smart home. I recommend that you watch this program in a quiet environment where you will not be disturbed. Download the workbook at the bottom of the page if you haven't done this already. To take notes and do the exercises, print it or use the digital version as you prefer. The workbook includes all the slides from the videos and the worksheets like questionnaire, checklists, templates, shopping assistance and a glossary. Now we are beginning our step-by-step process, so let's get started. We are now at step number 2 of our program. In this step, I will share with you the details of home automation to give you an insight on how it works and what is relevant for your decision. Let's get started with the benefits. With your home automation, you can achieve that you have fully automatic control of the house from anywhere, that you can save energy efficiently, that you are more secure in cases of burglary, fire, precautions during storms, and that your everyday life is easier thanks to convenient tools for your home. Of course, there are also challenges in home automation that need to be mastered, like for example data protection or power connection, which is required for many smart home devices, or the sometimes high installation and safety requirements, for example when you are using cameras which are streaming to mobile devices. Taking a look at the basic components of home automation, let's get started with a Bluetooth-based home automation system, which is highly secure and available at low costs. The Bluetooth system uses a PC or smartphone as receiver device. The problem is that it only gives you complete control over home appliances as long as you are in range of the Bluetooth network, which has a limited range of approximately 32 feet. If your smartphone is out of that range, it will not be able to control the home appliances. This is one of the main disadvantages of the Bluetooth-based home automation system. For systems which are not using Bluetooth, you will need a home network with router and wireless internet access, a central control unit called bridge or hub connected to the router, which networks the control of the devices. Then devices like sensors and actuators that perform actions, for example motion detectors, cameras, thermostats, smoke detectors, shutter motors and door openers. The power supply for the devices like mains socket, rechargeable batteries or batteries, perhaps solar cells. Then the connection between bridge and devices, which can be with cable or wireless. A control panel, for example a PC, a tablet, a smartphone or a smartwatch with the appropriate software or a voice assistant. Operating systems are mainly iOS or Android. For wireless thermostats and other sensors, you do not necessarily need a network in the beginning. It is also possible to operate them individually or by control unit. Let's take a closer look at the connection between bridge and devices. This connection can be wire-bound, that means with a cable, or wireless. The wire-bound or cable systems should always be preferred over wireless systems. In existing buildings, the laying of new cables may not be sensible and economical, but for core renovations and new buildings, cables should be the first choice. Now you may be asking why. Well, the reason is that cable solutions are more stable and reliable, while wireless signals can be easily disturbed and deflected, for example, by competing signals or the building infrastructure. Also, wireless systems often require a power source or batteries, which in most cases have to be replaced on a regular basis. There are possible health disadvantages as people might be exposed to electrical smog. When you are planning a new house or a structural restoration of your existing building, you usually choose between several cabling systems for your electrical installation. The 3 most common systems are the conventional electrical installation, where the same cable is usually routed from the power box to the switch and then on to the controlled lamp. This type of installation is simple and economical, but very inflexible. If you subsequently want to trigger another action with the aforementioned switch, it is no longer possible. Switch and corresponding lamp are permanently and inseparably linked to each other. When wiring in the star, a single cable leads to an electric participant like lamp, switch, socket and ends there. Several sockets and lamps that form a logical unit can of course be grouped and controlled as a group by one cable. A central logic module, which is usually installed in the control cabinet, now decides which lamp or socket or other participant is controlled by a specific switch or button. Sensors like, for example, motion detectors and actuators, for example, a roller shutter drive, which implement the sensor commands, can now be flexibly assigned to each other. Even more complex processes with several participants and/or subsequent actions are possible at any time via the control module. The disadvantage of this system is that in the event of failure of the central control unit, the other module can usually no longer be switched easily. The bus cabling, for example KNX, is similar to star cabling. However, all sensors are connected with one cable, single line with any branches, from one component to the next. Devices like sockets, lamps, outlets and so on are routed star-shaped into the central power box or distribution cabinet via separate individual cables. A central control component as brain is not necessary in general. Sensors are monitored via self-sufficient sensor modules connected to the bus, and actuators are controlled and operated from device modules connected to the bus. The wireless system is the most simple and the most common solution for home automation. In some systems, it is possible to get started without any electrical installations. That means that they can often be installed by the owners or tenants themselves. The limits of such do-it-yourself smart home are reached as soon as electrical installations are necessary. There are basically two kinds of wireless systems, the open and the manufacturer system. Open systems such as Z-Wave or Zigbee are theoretically open to products from various manufacturers. As long as the base station supports the respective radio protocol, sensors, controllers and actuators can be connected to it. However, in practice, this does not always work smoothly. That is why manufacturers make recommendations for certain tested and approved products. Manufacturer systems avoid problems in the operation and registration of devices, and some manufacturers rely on their own radio technology. This means that only products of the same brand or those that have been approved by the supplier are suitable partners of the smart home central unit. This limits the selection but guarantees reliable operation. If you're planning to use your smartphone or voice assistant to control the functions of your home automation, you can use both operation systems, Android or iOS. Maybe you have some Android or iOS-based devices already, which you want to use and get the home automation equipped, which fits best. If you decided which operating system you want to use, you choose the home automation system which fits best. For example, you can use Google Home with both operating systems. The home control includes an operator panel. Depending on the system, this can be standardized or completely individually adapted. Remember that you will see the operator panel every day, so think about this properly and keep it simple. If you're using wall panels or control apps, make sure that they are visually appealing, accessible and easy to use. In contrast to existing buildings, the essential components for the smart home can be prepared when planning a new building. Here are the most important points to consider in planning, no matter if you are using it now or later. Set up a bus system, for example KNX, or equip all power lines with an additional core for later control. Provide deep socket holes for mounting smart home elements invisible in the wall. Think of power and control cables for windows and blinds. For your TV, audio, media system, consider network connections, antenna connections and hidden speaker cables in the walls at central points to avoid cable clutter. Make sure that you can create the atmosphere you want in your rooms with lighting. Intercoms and cameras for door communication also need electricity and should therefore be planned accordingly. Include power and control lines for garage and outdoor lighting, garden irrigation and your garden house. If owners of existing buildings are planning a structural restoration, a bus cabling system could be installed to provide a perfect base for home automation. If not, flexible cables could be added to existing tubes. If there are no existing tubes, the cables could be set up in surface-mounted ducts or skirting boards. They are available in different designs and materials, and junction boxes can be integrated elegantly. However, if cabling is difficult or a structural restoration is not planned in the next years, a modular wireless home automation system makes more sense. This means that no cables are necessary. Also, with the wireless solutions, a fully fledged smart home can be realized. Most wireless smart home solutions are so-called plug-and-play systems, which, unlike the cable-based ones, can also be installed by everyone. Retrofit systems are not only of interest to owners. Tenants can also use it to automate their apartments. The best solution for this case is a wireless system. In rented homes, the rules usually are: if the installation of the system interferes with the structure of the building, the landlord's permission must be obtained. Even the replacement of a flush-mounted switch is considered an intervention in this sense. However, it is so easy to reverse that the apartment can easily be returned to its original state when moving out. I suggest to make a written agreement between landlord and tenant about the measures before installation starts. To avoid conflict, if you also determine beforehand who pays for the installation, whether the devices can stay in the apartment when moving out, or who is going to bear the cost for the dismantling. Thanks to the wireless transmission paths, the costs for complete systems and individual components have decreased in recent years. The costs are, of course, depending on what you want and what kind of strategy you are choosing. I'm showing you different strategies, and as this is a critical part when you're planning your home automation, I'm giving you an idea of the possible costs for the different strategies. You could begin with a wireless data set. They are often available from $200 to $300 in total, and in the case of complex networks, the total cost can nevertheless be in the range of several $100s. If you want to cover the three important areas: light, energy and safety, you're well equipped with $1,500 for a retrofit system. In the case of hardwired smart home solutions, builders have to be prepared for several $1,000s as investment cost in order to achieve comparable functionality. On the other hand, however, these systems require less maintenance, which is particularly useful for long-term solutions and especially for seniors. If you are not sure of which one to choose, ask for several offers with different system solutions for the control features you want. Some providers charge a monthly fee for their app or remote control via internet. You should take these running costs into account when comparing the offers. We will now discuss whether and when the investment in a smart home will pay off. Here are some examples. When it comes to heating, the payoff can simply be measured by the energy savings, which can be identified in the billing process. In older buildings, for example, the purchase price of smart home components is often recovered after just 2 to 3 years. Due to good insulation and lower heating costs, the payoff in new buildings takes longer. The purchase costs for a smart home system have often only paid for themselves after 5 to 6 years. When it comes to safety and comfort, it is difficult to quantify an exact sum. In this case, people have to decide individually how much they want to pay for these features. If you're not yet familiar with home automation, you could start small, like most starters do. You can choose a manageable area depending on what you want. Starter sets usually focus on one aspect, such as comfort, safety, or energy saving. For example, start with saving energy. Here, the most popular bundles usually consist of heating thermostats, a base station, and a window contact. This equipment corresponds to a typical standard living room. With this strategy, you can test a smart home on a small scale and later, when you feel more secure, extend the system to other rooms. Then later, for example, the two aspects of energy saving and safety can be combined because a window contact cannot only be used to control the heating. At night or when you are not at home, it could also serve as a safety control. and give alarm when a window is opened. In order to make your life healthier and ensure a more responsible living in your home, these are the basic techniques which can be easily adapted. You can use energy-efficient lighting, appliances and electronic devices, and install a sustainable heating or cooling system. You can optimize existing heating or cooling system, manage and use water efficiently, and use renewable energy. You can use natural light and air by reorientation of doors, windows, and other openings. You can use building materials that provide efficient insulation in order to reduce heat convection and radiation. You can use sensors to control lighting and air conditioning based on the occupancy of a space. And you can choose electrical appliances with low standby consumption. My recommendation to you is here that you have a look at the energy consumption of your home automation system in order to ensure that it is not increasing your energy consumption. Alright, another important thing to know is that there can be transmission problems. This is due to the fact that many devices do not understand each other because the manufacturers do not use the same transmission protocol. Most package solutions are running smoothly, but once you start mixing, it can get complicated. Central control units that understand several languages can be the solution for this problem. Once cyber criminals have managed to hack a single smart home device, they can often access other components, even spying out passwords and personal data. This is how to make your system more secure. Use a secure password. Many manufacturers of smart devices include a password, but this should not be used. Assign your own secure password. It should be at least 8 characters and consist of capital and small letters as well as special characters and digits. Then you should set up a firewall and protect the router and home network. Even when purchasing intelligent household appliances, check if software updates will be available in the coming years. Only if the device is up to date, it is safe. If you are using smart devices that need no internet connection, disconnect them from the internet. When we are asked if people can install the home automation themselves, well, that depends on the system you choose. There are some simple wireless plug-and-play systems that you can easily install yourself with a little skill and craftsmanship. It's up to you to decide whether you want to install the system yourself or let a professional do the work for you. For wired systems, however, planning and installation by a specialist is necessary. This is also recommended for more complex wireless systems. The initial programming should be carried out by an installer or a building system integrator if necessary. In the meantime, there are also pre-programmed systems which nevertheless leave room for changes. Remember what you can't do yourself? As soon as flush-mounted switches and actuators are to be installed, a professional electrician is mandatory, as otherwise there is no insurance cover for the installation in the event of fire. If you don't enjoy smart technology, it's better to leave the programming to an expert anyway. Simple if-then rules are created quickly. If there is movement in the corridor, the light should be switched on. If several devices and conditions come into play, however, the matter becomes complicated. Then it may be necessary to prevent automatically closing roller shutters from locking the family out on the terrace. Now I want to share with you some insights from behind the scenes so that you are able to optimize your own project. Let's take a look what are the main problems people are facing concerning home automation. One of the major problems is that planning of building automation is not detailed enough. It is important that the goals of the house owners or tenants are defined in detail, since even an incorrectly placed switch will have consequences for the arrangement of the furniture. Another problem is the inadequate documentation of building automation. After 10 years, when the tenants want to add a few new smart home features to their apartment, a detailed installation and wiring plan must be available for this. If there is no documentation, changes can only be implemented with more effort and difficulties. People are also facing the problem that the solutions used are not compatible with each other. When selecting a product, everything must fit together and best comply with the KNX standards so that the respective actuators and sensors communicate correctly with each other. Sometimes the smart home is not flexible enough for the future, so my recommendation is plan your home automation to be as flexible as possible for the future. For this reason, 30 to 40% empty space in the control cabinet and sufficient empty conduits should already be provided at the planning stage for subsequent customer requests and new technical possibilities. And in some cases, the touch panels are located in the wrong places. Choosing the right location for the touch panels is essential because only their ideal placement ensures time savings and satisfied users in the end. Alright, now we have finished step 2 of the program. Here's a short review of what we have covered in this video. I was sharing with you what is necessary in order to let your home automation work smoothly and give you a good feeling in your home. We were also talking about the different possible strategies with the estimated budgets, and with this you are able to decide how you want to get started in your home. I was showing you how you can implement home automation in any home situation. If you're living in your own or in a rented home, if you're planning to build a new home, or you want to add home automation to your existing home. Also, I was sharing with you essential details about what to consider and gave you valuable insights from behind the scenes. As you can see, there is not just one home automation. Every intelligent house is individually adapted to its inhabitants. You usually spend a lot of money on your home automation system. In order to get what you want, you should understand right from the start what is going on in your house, when and why. You should take a look at home automation systems which are shown in exhibitions, model homes, or ask your planner about existing customer objects. That shouldn't be a problem in most cases because customers often proudly present their smart home. Also, more and more prefabricated buildings are equipped with intelligent control technology. Check the model home exhibitions in your region. Alright, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the second smart home video. See you in video number 3.